So George Wallace invites me, and I do this show, and we have a great show, and like it goes really, really well, and I'm excited. I get standing ovation. After the show, the club manager approaches me, and he said, Michael, you had a really great set. Let me ask you a question. I was like, yeah. He said, would you like to go to church with me this weekend? I was like, church? Man, back up. You're making my feet hurt. I don't want to go to church. Now, let me pause for a second and do a little side note for the people who were here last night. Why? I actually had a subconscious, conscious thought of back up, you're making my feet hurt when he invited me to church. Anybody have any idea why that would be the case? Exactly. When I was a kid, remember, I was in this church and my shoes were always too small. So my brain created a negative neural association that church meant pain. And if church means pain, I want to leave as fast as I can, like that little boy right there with his mom. So I had a negative neural association that church meant pain, and had I been curious before, I could have found out it was just because of the shoes, not because of the house, not because of the people, not because of a God. So maybe there's some people in this room or some people watching right now where you have a negative neural association attached to church or the people of the church, but that's only a horizontal view. That's not a vertical thing. It's not him, it's just them. So don't let them come between you and him. So he invites me to church, and I'm like, man, nah, I ain't going to church, man, please. I don't want to go to church. I was like, nah, I'm cool, man. And then he just leaves, and I'm like, cool. 20 minutes later, his fiance asked me the same question, but she was fine. I'm talking about beautiful, and she has some sort of accent too. She's like, Michael Jr., would you like to go to church with us? Let me pause real quick. There is only 2 reasons you do anything in life. Listen, compare this to any choice you made today. There's only 2 reasons you do anything in life: to avoid pain or to gain pleasure. Period. This beautiful woman says to me, she pales in comparison to my wife now, but I didn't have a wife back then. She says, Michael Jr., would you like to go to church with us? I was like, I was just looking for a church the other day, man. Find me a church, man. So I go to this church. It's called the Christian Culture Center in Brooklyn, New York. I go to this church, and this church is huge. It's like 4,000 people in this church. This place is, and I can't even find the people who invited me. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just sitting there, and in the church, and the music is all great, and I'm really like, and then this dude comes out on stage, and he's just talking about Jesus, just like Steve. He's just talking about Jesus. He's not screaming. He's not yelling. He don't got no perm. He was just talking about Jesus. He wasn't doing none of this stuff right here. And I was very intrigued. And then he did this thing where he did like an altar call. And he said, if you want Jesus in your life, all you have to do is believe in your heart. I'm really also talking to you guys, ladies, in the prison right now. All you have to do is believe in your heart and confess with your mouth, and Jesus is yours. And I wanted to do it too. I was like, ooh, yeah, I want to. But I didn't know for sure, because I knew a couple Christians, and they were creepy. And I didn't want to be no creepy Christian, because there's some creepy Christians out there. If you don't know any creepy Christians, it's you. Yeah, your friends know one. So I was like, nah, I don't. So I told myself I need to read the pamphlet first. I got to find out about this first. So I needed a Bible. I didn't even have a Bible. A few days later, I'm at like this mall area, and this lady just randomly walks up to me and hands me her Bible. We don't even exchange words. She just handed me her Bible and walked off into the sunset or something. I'm like, wow. So I get this Bible, and I'm like, I said I was going to read it. Let me read it. First thing I read was the copyrights. The Bible was made in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Me too. That's crazy, man. I never met before. It's crazy. So I'm reading the Bible, and I'm going to church. I'm reading the Bible, I'm going to church. And then I got to the part in there about the job. I'm like, no wonder I don't want one of them. That's crazy, man. So I keep reading. You guys should study more. So I'm reading the Bible, reading the Bible, and I'm like, man, and then I get to the part in Matthew where it said Jesus died for me. I did not know. I've been to church, I saw all this stuff, but nobody was teaching. I get to the part in Matthew where it said Jesus died for me. I didn't know. I had no idea. And I'm tripping, and I get to Mark, and he died again. I'm like, what is happening? Then in Luke, I get to John, I'm like, why are you going back in the garden, Jesus? Listen, I wish that was some comedy I wrote. I really thought he died 4 times. I'm like, I don't understand what is happening. Didn't I just read this? Then I finished reading the Bible. And I remember going to church so excited. It took me, and when I say I was digging into the Word, because I really want to give my life to Jesus, like you don't have to read the Bible before you make a decision for Jesus. You don't have to do that. I didn't know, though, and I wanted to know. So it took me 36 days to read the Bible. So I finished reading the Bible, and I went to church, and I wanted to give my life over to Jesus. And I was like, yo, man, I just finished this Bible. I went up during the announcements at the beginning. I was like, hey, man, I'm ready. And now, after giving my life over to Jesus, I understand some stuff. I don't understand it all by any means. Maybe 20% of a percent. But I understand this. Like I used to just think I was funny. Now I understand I'm funny for a reason. Like there's a reason behind me having this sense of humor and the skills and even the setbacks that I've had, just like there's reasons for your setbacks. And God can use all of those. So now I get celebrities, some that you would know, who ask me questions about God. And they'll be like, explain God to me. That's what they'll say. I can't just explain God. If I could just explain God, he wouldn't be God. And then they'll rephrase, one guy rephrased the question. He said, well, how is it I can do all of this stuff that I'm doing? And he was doing a lot of stuff. Like he was doing way too much. And he said, how is it that God still wants a relationship with me, even though I'm doing all of this stuff? And this is all I could come up with at the time. And this isn't even close to explain how awesome God is, but this is all I had at the time. I was like, it's kind of like being in a car with a navigation device. You ever been in a car with a navigation device before? You guys ever been in a car before? We can start there. You ever been in a car? It's like being in a car with a navigation device. If it says go 10 blocks and turn left, then you go 10 blocks and turn right. It doesn't abandon what you're supposed to do. It recalculates what you need to do to get to where you're supposed to be based upon where you are. The only problem is if you keep making the wrong turns, the road conditions will be different. They may be rougher, and you're running out of time. So you have to be sensitive to listen to that voice so you can make the right choice about where you're supposed to be. And that voice sounds an awful lot like a coach because you haven't been practicing for nothing. It's game time. So now I'm at the point where I almost have to choose a story because I only have time for one of these stories. In the glasses, the young lady with the glasses, dark hair, what's your name? Oh, Juliana. All right, cool, Juliana. So I could do one. No, we don't need a microphone. It's cool. I could do one of 2 stories here. I got this story about the first time I ever did the Tonight Show. You guys know what the Tonight Show is? Okay, cool. Or I have a story about the first time I went to prison. Which one would you like? Oh, you're going to go with the prison story? That's what you want? It's too bad. I'm doing a Tonight Show. Now, I'm going to see if I can squeeze both of them in. So, okay, I'll do the prison one first. I'll do the prison. All right, so I have a nonprofit, a not-for-profit, whatever you guys may call it here, right? And it's called Funny for the Forgotten, where we take comedy to homeless shelters and prisons, abused children facilities. That's why it's awesome that we have so many prisoners here. You guys are awesome. It's a captive audience. Appreciate you guys. So this is my first time ever going into a prison to do comedy, and I'm scared for real because I don't know anything about prison. Like, I don't know, and I'm walking into this prison. As soon as I walk in, the warden took my belt from me. He's like, you can't have a belt. Somebody might try to hang you. Can't they just boo me like regular people? Why they got to hang me? I'm in prison, my pants loose. Like, that's a bad idea. I mean, I don't. So I'm scared. I'm walking in this prison, and they got these bars that open up, and then you take a few steps and some more bars and more. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Welcome home. And you guys know now. Okay, so I'm scared as I'm walking in this prison, right? I'm feeling a little afraid, and I know I need a joke immediately. I need these guys to like me immediately, but not too much. You know what I'm saying? Just enough, right? So I'm walking in, and then I got 8 guards around me, so I'm not super scared because I got 8 guards walking into the prison with me. But the deeper we go into this prison, the less guards I have. I don't know if they get hit by dart guns. I'm not sure what's happening. We get to the last set of bars. It's just me and one skinny little prisoner, one skinny little guard, and he said to me, hey, this is as far as I go. I was like, well, me too, man. I'm not going in there. But I feel like God is saying go, so I'm like, oh, man, I'm scared. And I walk to this last set of bars, and there's all these prisoners, and they all got on pink jumpsuits. Apparently pink is a soothing color, so it's less fights in pink. And you would think as a comedian, why don't you just talk about them jumpsuits? I ain't saying nothing about them jumpsuits. And they're all in this big circle, and then there's this little aisle, and then there's a hole in the middle of the circle, and I guess I'm supposed to go there and do jokes, surrounded by prisoners. And I don't know what I'm gonna say, and I'm walking, and I look cool, right? I look cool on the outside, but I don't have a joke popping up. And I don't know what I'm gonna start with. I'm like, I don't know where to start, and I'm scared. I'm walking in, and I got 5 steps left, and I look cool on the outside, but I got nothing. I was gonna throw out the captive audience joke, but I was like, I don't think so. I'm technically the one that's captive right now. So I'm walking, I got 2 steps left. I got nothing, no joke is popping up, nothing. I settled this foot, and for real, sitting right up front, is a white guy with a white beard named Moses. I was like, thanks, Lord. When I said these words to Moses, the place exploded in laughter. We had an amazing time. I said, Moses, this is what I want you to do. When you see the prison warden, I want you to look him in his eye. You look him right in his eye, and I want you to say, let my people go. For real.
If you enjoyed this video today, why not give it a like? Furthermore, why not subscribe to our channel as we seek to share the light and love of Jesus into your life?